Marvel Rivals Season 1 is going live today, at least when this video comes out, and the patch notes have come out a couple of days early. I want to take a look at it and see what we're dealing with, who's getting nerfed, who's getting buffed, what's changing just in general. There are a lot of spicy changes in here that I do want to go over. So without further ado, first off, these changes, these patch notes are much improved compared to what they did in the beta. In the beta, they were just like, yeah, we're making it so that Hela just isn't as good as shooting, and it'd be like, okay, what'd you actually do? And then you have to go test it out. So luckily here we do have some actual like real what's it called, like actual numbers and stuff. Now it's gonna be a little small because the way that they do this, I'd have to reformat everything to make it a little bigger. I guess I can go ahead, we'll just get a Control Plus. Did that even change anything? Oh, it's not even changing how big it is. Look at that. Oh, okay, well, we're gonna have to deal with this. Okay, so the first one here is Captain America. Captain America has definitely felt not great, and it's hard to say what to change about him without increasing his damage, because increasing his damage I think would make him really good. So what they ended up doing was that they, what is this, reduce the delay time for shield restoration after releasing Living Legend. So his shield comes back faster, I believe is what that is saying. Reduced Liberty Rush cooldown from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. That is his bash. I think that's really good. That allows him to actually move around the map more. It is not extra damage. Let's be really clear. Technically, on a very technical level, his DPS has gone up, but it does so little, so minute, that you can actually use his cooldown a little more effectively to get around. That's good. He has a little more health, which is, 25 more health from 650 is not going to be that much, but he actually has his ult is going to be up more often, and I'm pretty sure, I swear people said he walked faster in his ult, but that's not listed here. But also to reduce the additional health provided per second to self after releasing it. So he's going to be a little less survivable in his ult, but he gets it more often. I think that's actually a pretty good change, because these ults where like people just don't die, they're not very fun. Not very engaging. Was this one of the ones that I was thinking about to change? No, absolutely not. We'll talk about some of those when they come up, but that is something that's good. I like the Captain America changes, at least, it's only been a month, sure. He might need more down the line, but we'll have to see. I like Cap a lot. I don't know if you know this. He's my most played character. I really like Captain America. Doctor Strange will be reducing the threat range and increasing the defense window of Sorcerer Supreme. Of the Sorcerer Supreme. Okay. Add damage fall off to Maelstrom of Madness and Gamma Maelstrom. That's his burst, and the Gamma version is with Hulk as well. Starting at 5 meters and reducing to 70% at 8 meters. So what does that actually mean? That means that he is going to be doing less damage the further away you are from him when he uses his burst move. So that actually encourages Strange to get closer, and it also is just going to make his DPS threat way less. What's actually kind of relevant is that during his ult, when you actually can get double damage if you hit the clone version, like the soul and the person standing still. So Strange is actually going to have to position himself differently if he wants to get that double damage max value. And then if he does that, like he puts himself between a soul and a person, then he's actually losing value on the other people who got hit by it. So I actually think this is a really interesting change. This should make Doctor Strange a little more fun, in my opinion, because now you have to think about like your positioning about when you use the burst. And that's like another plate you have to juggle when you're playing Doctor Strange. I think that's going to be great. Slightly decrease the shield value recovery rate after releasing Shield of Seraphim. So it's decreasing the recovery rate, so his shield is not going to come back as much. For a shield character, he has his up way more often, especially like compared to somebody like Magneto. Magneto's is on like a regular resource. His is on like the regen based on health, and he has it all the time. Like, it is very hard to actually break his shield completely. This doesn't technically make it easier to break his shield, but there's going to be more moments where he's going to have downtime. Definitely a good thing. Thor. The God of Thunder could use some slightly increased survivability and improve the success rate of his ultimate. Increase base health from 500 to 525. Big whoop. Here's something I don't like. Now, is God of Thunder the ult a good ult? No, it is not. But I do not like ults that cannot be canceled. I do not like ults with immunity. it just feels a little uninteractive. And they added immunity to God of Thunder. Yes, it's very easy to catch him, but I think that, you know, part of the thing is that if it's easy to catch him, then the ult should be better, right? I don't think it should just be like a bad ult that you can't get cancel out of. I really don't agree with that philosophy. A lot of ults in this game, you know, Mr. Fantastic is a new example because he has an unstoppable ult. They just like, you can't stop them. You can't interrupt them. They're just allowed to do it. You know, you have to shoot them. And a lot of times the characters move so sporadically that shooting them is not really good, you know, or there's healing involved. You can't actually kill them. Thor, it's not going to work that way. Like Thor's going to be like easier to, he's the easiest to kill in his ult, I think. But I would just like, I don't know, add a minor slow to it so that people can't escape. Or I wouldn't increase the damage per se because that could be really annoying. Maybe the damage on the before the slam, I don't know. Something like that, but I would prefer not to have this type of ult buff for Thor. Hulk has been dominant but decreased sustained combat capacity upon entering the battlefield, will bring him more in line with the other Vanguard. So his shield has less health, which is definitely good because his shield is very, very, very good. Another thing that I have to note is that we'll get down to the bottom. The seasonal bonuses for the anchors are changing. So if it seems like some characters like Hela or Hawkeye might still sound really good, remember that, you know, their seasonal bonuses are probably getting adjusted. So that in turn with, their actual nerfs will compound a little more. Venom here. Venom is, in my opinion, definitely the worst tank in the game. Extremely linear, can't really get anything done, can't really kill anything by himself, especially with the strength of supports in this game. So he definitely needed the help. However, I don't think the help that he got is going to matter that much. He gets a little more bonus health when he uses his ult, and he has a little more damage on the right click ability. Sorry, a little more I think I have got this backwards. Feast of Abyss is the ultimate ability. That is doing more damage. That is significant. And then the symbiotic resilience bonus health ratio gained. Okay, so he gets more shields. Okay, I read that wrong. See, I was getting confused because people like leaked the patch notes early because they got in season 1. I say leaked. They got in the season 1. They were trying to figure it out themselves. I'm gonna listen to what is on here. So basically when he uses his shields, he gets more health. It says 1 to 1.2. I'm trying to think. I thought he always went up to 900. So is he always going to go to a different value? Maybe 1100? I don't know. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's not going to, maybe it's going to be variable. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. That's interesting to know. And then his Feast of Abyss gets, is better. I think that actually means that he gets more shields as well in the ults, maybe. Probably not, but I think that might be part of it. Black Panther. So we're on the duelist now. Combat survivability definitely needed to go down. He does get a lot of shields and it's very, very hard to hit him. Reduce the additional health provided to self after refreshing vibranium marks. With Spirit Rend. Yeah, that's his dash. And the upper limit of additional health is way lower. That's really important. I think that's actually like crucial, that instead of having whatever his health, like 275 or 300 plus 120, he's going to have 275, 300 plus 75. So his max health is going to be like 350 instead of like upwards to 400 plus. That is really relevant, I think, for Panther. Good changes. Black Panther is hard, and I think that just the way the engine works, decreasing his survivability is a very good thing to make him more punishable. Black Widow, I think these changes are actually going to be kind of crazy. So one of my biggest complaints with Widow is that her kick goes nowhere. It is actually like the feast and famine type stuff, or sorry, the haves and the have-nots is a better way to put that, because Spider-Man uppercut has like, it feels like you can hit somebody 10 meters in front of you, but Black Widow, they could be standing right next to you and your kick just kind of like misses. So they've increased its range, which is really good. But the really interesting thing here is that they reduced the time to recover for Fleetfoot. That's her run. From 0 stamina, it used to take 12 seconds to get back all the way up to get full stamina. Now it only takes 4. So Black Widow is going to be actually able to run around the map a lot more consistently. And since she can't headshot, she actually can now have threat where she's going to go try and shoot from an angle and go, okay, I'm going to go run to the next one. And then she's not going to get screwed if somebody catches her there because her run is going to be back soon. So she can be a lot more of a mosquito kind of sniper, which I think is an interesting idea. We'll have to see how this goes because the one shot is like really important for a lot of these sniper kind of characters, but just being so annoying might be enough. We'll have to see. And I learned while reading these patch notes that she has to charge up her ult to get maximum power. Didn't know that was a thing. Makes a lot of sense now that she says maximum and then like, or not maximum, that's, what does she say? She says when she activates her ult, when she goes into the scope, she says something and then she waits until she fires to say the other thing. I just thought that was weird. That's actually because you can track how much charge she has based on how much time has passed if you're another person on the battlefield. So, probably good. I think her ult was definitely one of, if not the weakest ult in the game. Honestly, Venom ult probably worse because at least this one had a slow. I don't know. Not very good. We'll see, or wasn't very good. We'll see how this makes Widow. I think she's going to be a lot more of a real character. She's going to be a lot more functional, I think is the best way to put it. How good she'll actually be in comparison to some of these other characters, not so sure. Hawkeye will be decreasing the medium to long range damage capability, reducing the threatening combat radius, and slightly improve the close combat resistance for the Avenging Archer. Slightly reduce the spread angle between two blast arrows. Oh! Slightly reduce the spread angle between every two blast arrows. So his blast arrows, his secondary fire, which are worthless, are going to be a little better. I think they're going to be a little more consistent, a little more shotgunny. That's good. Reduce the triggering distance of passive ability Archer's focus from 60 meters to 40 meters. That's big. That means he can't charge up on people who are a million miles away. They have to be considerably closer. And then they reduce the maximum additional damage from 80 to 70. Now, I'm trying to do a little bit of like head math here because with the seasonal bonus, which is going down, which I know it's going down to, it's going down to 15% from 25. With the 25% bonus, he had 375 headshot max charge. Now he's going to have max charge. It's going to be less damage and it's going to be reduced percentage wise. He's still going to be able to one shot, I'm pretty sure, but it's going to be a lot less. And that's really important for tanks too, because I think tanks were disproportionately affected by Hawkeye as well. Yes, he can one shot squishies, but tanks would take like nearly 400 damage plus more if Mantis boosted him, and he just like could farm the charge off of them. Like it was ridiculous to try and fight against this character. And of course, tanks don't have the range to keep up with him or to deal with him. So that's good. And again, we'll talk about that seasonal bonus in a second. Hela. Okay, see, here's another thing. I swear I saw clips of Hela having a lower fire rate. But it's not here. It's not like claimed here. I don't know what is the... Maybe they make stealth changes. I'm not sure. But as it says, she just has less health. And she'll have less damage because of her seasonal bonus. That's probably good. I mean, I think her ult is pretty good. I think her damage was just crazy, right? The ability to just two-tap people, especially, again, with damage Mantis boost. Mantis damage boost. Crazy value you can get from Hela. Just decreasing her health is not going to do much. Having less damage definitely does a lot more. So Hela is probably going to still be very strong, but not as oppressive, I don't think. Magic, the Queen of Limbo, needed an increase to her threat after unleashing her ultimate ability. That's what I've been saying, bro. That's what I've been saying. She's not been doing damage in her ult. I understand that I'm not the best Magic player and I don't understand her that much, but her ult felt so so not powerful, right? It felt so less powerful. And if she gets her seasonal damage boost reduced at all, by the way, she does lose her one-shot combos. I'm not actually sure if they did. We'll have to go check it out, but yeah, she felt really bad in her ult. This is a very necessary change, I think. Moon Knight. I think Moon Knight's ult was really hard to get a lot of value out of, and this is going to be a good way. It's bigger, Increase the explosion radius. Oh, so that's each thing coming from the sky being more effective rather than the range of the ult. That's a really good change, because I think if the ult was too big, then you couldn't escape it. But that's a really good change. I like that, to keep it more consistent within there. And then increase the number of talents generated by the ult itself. So there's going to be more DPS pressure. Now, again, somebody said, I saw on Twitter, that the ult came out faster, but that is not listed here. So again, another one we'll have to see. I'm not exactly sure. Namor, sorry, I need to start saying Namor. Adjust the throwing field of monster spawn and frozen spawn. Now Namor can accurately throw them to the desired location. Does he have like an arrow or something? Like what does that mean? I don't know what that means. Okay, sure. We'll have to see what that is. Psylocke will be providing more options for other heroes to counter the Demon Slayer's ultimate. Now, Dance of Butterfly, her ultimate ability, will check for barriers, which makes sense that it didn't check for barriers beforehand, but now I like the idea that you can block it. But it didn't. It went through bubble? That seems crazy to me. Like, going through bubble doesn't seem how that interaction should work. Now, obviously, it's been fixed now, so that's good. But the fact that it goes through like the bubble type abilities, like I thought bubbles were just like basically like extra health, right? Like they had like blockers and stuff on them, but I thought it was just kind of like effectively like you don't get to take damage during the time you're bubbled. That is not how it works, apparently. There are some things that are going to go through the bubble. Psylocke ult was one of them. Now it doesn't. That's a good change. Punisher. We're slightly increasing the damage capacity or capability of Frank's weapons. Slightly reduced the spread of both of his guns, I guess. So that's good. He's a little annoying, so sure. It's not like a super big deal. Actually, it might be a big deal for the shotgun. We'll have to see. But I don't think Punisher was like a really problem at the moment. Okay, Wanda. So she's been really, really bad. Scarlet Witch. Combat strength when facing duelists and strategists. So if you don't know this, how Wanda's grasp works is that it does a combination of percentage-based damage and fixed damage. And what they've done here is increase the fixed damage and decrease the percentage-based damage. So it does more damage to squishy targets, but it should do relatively the same amount of damage to tanks, I think is the idea that they're going for here. Probably a good call, because you don't want Scarlet Witch just like doing proportionately too much damage to tanks and then she never does anything else. And then also her right click does more damage. Definitely a good thing. I think the skill shot should have more damage. So Scarlet Witch, these are actually pretty decent changes, I think. Honestly, if they just made her projectiles have more damage and not change her grasp at all, I would be okay with that. Might be a little annoying. You know what, now that I'm looking at it, like I don't know how much damage per second the percentage is coming on it, like a 250 health hero. I don't know, that it might be a lot. It might be really annoying to fight Scarlet Witch now that I'm looking at it. We'll have to see. Okay, so Storm got a lot of good stuff. Increased wind blade projectile speed. That is her left click, I think. Is going way faster and it's doing more damage, which is good. Now remember, she can damage boost herself, so while she's damage boosted, it does even more damage. That is something to remember. Bolt Rush is, I think that is her team up with Thor. Because I remember they buffed her team up with Thor. So I believe Bolt Rush is her team up with Thor, not her right click. And then her ultimate, the bonus health provided for herself will be increased. Now that, I think, okay, here's what I'll say. You cannot stun Storm out of her ult. It's really annoying. Now she's going to have more health, which is going to be very annoying. But I do like the fact that the overhealth does not go away after the ult ends right away. You actually have some time to like get back into position and like use that extra survivability to get a little more aggressive with your ult. And I think that's a fun change. I just don't like the fact that her ult is unstoppable. At least it was. I don't know if it still is. It should still be. just not a very fun ult to fight against. But she's going to be a much more like higher damage threat. And I know that she has plus 5% seasonal bonus, even though she's not an anchor character. She has 5% more damage on top of this and on top of her damage boost. So she's going to be a lot more relevant, I think. Squirrel Girl. This is crazy to me. Her ultimate, the squirrels will rush towards the nearest enemy after bouncing. So after one bounce, her squirrels are going to lock on. I don't know if they're going to lock on and like curve, but they're going to find whoever the next one is and go to them. That is really scary because that's a lot of damage. Like if you have two people standing next to each other, literally, well, it bounces off walls, doesn't it? It doesn't bounce off people. Maybe this isn't as big of a deal. You could also shoot the ult. You've always been able to shoot the ult, but now it has half health. It didn't feel relevant to shoot the ult because it was kind of like 600 health was a lot and it moved too fast and sporadically to keep up with it. 300 is much more relevant. So we'll have to see. I actually think I like these changes. I think these make this ult more interesting. And definitely you have to think about it a lot more when you're the enemy team. Winter Soldier getting some nice buffs here. He gets more bonus health when he uses his abilities. He gets his right click does more damage. Not right click. The ability, the ball. We'll call it the ball. Reduce the damage area or the area damage from 70 to 65. Reduce damage decay from 65 to 40 meters at 60% damage for the projectile, I assume. So it does more if you hit it directly, but less if you hit the kind of like the splash, I guess. To be honest, I'm not quite sure what this means. If somebody wants to let me know in the comments below. And he gets more health, which is always nice. I think he probably needed it to compete and to flank with other characters. Wolverine has gotten more base survivability, but less when he is damage reduced. So on average, he's going to be surviving more. Wolverine did not need to get changes at all. This character is very good. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. He is a tank destroyer. He gets to abduct people and bring them into his team. His team can just keep him up while he's just slashing away doing percentage-based health. He needs nerfs. I'm telling you, he needs nerfs, and he needs probably some power retooling about what is good and where they want him to be. That is my opinion, at least. Cloak and Dagger. Now, Cloak and Dagger, I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter like that they change faster, like you change between the two of them faster. It's not listed here again, so I'm not exactly sure why. Yo, thank you, Jarvis.
You are and always have been. Penis cancer in human form.
Have you not been following me? Wow. Anyways, let's keep going. Reduce Dagger Storm cooldown from 15 to 12 seconds. That's her bubble. This is really like her sustain is going to be crazy because having bubble and then also having the screen, like swapping between those, is really, really important. So yeah, that is really, really good for Cloak and Dagger. What you're going to notice is that the sustain and the characters that are really good are not going to be getting, or strategists rather, are not going to be getting hit as hard as you might think they're going to. And that is a little concerning about how they want these characters to play. But, you know, we'll have to see how that goes. Spoilers, no Luna ult nerf, no Luna nerf, really. We'll talk about the one that's there. It's not really relevant in my opinion. And then her ult, Cloak and Dagger's ult gets one more dash, so you can stack the, what's it called? The screen. I'm calling it screen. The mist one more time. So you can do a lot of healing. It's like 800 healing per second if all four of them are together. And you can cover a wider area with your ult. So that is probably a good thing, although I will say it does keep Cloak and Dagger out of the fight for longer. Which they might need to use their abilities for. Not that relevant, but it could be a factor. So be careful when you use your ult because you're locked into it for longer. Jeff, his ult is no longer a sphere that does, so here, it was a it was initially a sphere that had a 10-meter radius, right? So, or it just says 10-meter sphere. Oh yeah, to a 10-meter radius. So it would have 10 meters up, and like this, you would get hit by the orb, you know, get hit by Jeffel. Now instead, it's just a cylinder, but it only goes up 5 meters. So what that means is that if you are 5 meters above the ult, no matter what, you're not getting hit by it. So its effective range is a lot smaller technically, but it has gotten some more, like if you're trying to dodge it on the edges, you have just as much of a chance of dodging it height wise as in the middle, right? So you don't have to worry about trying to get away from it. If you're a flying character, just go up, right? That's where it's relevant, I guess. If you're jumping away, stuff like that. So it's more consistent, I guess, but it's not as good as like snatching people out of the air, which I think is a very good change. Increase the healing of Jeff's Joyful Splash. 140 per second. That must be his actual fire. So he's gonna do more healing, more sustain. Okay. I don't agree with just making supports like heal botting. I think sustain in this game is already crazy, and since it's so good, you literally can't focus on doing much else. There are only certain supports like, did he need it though? He's pretty bad. I don't know if I would have done this, but Jeff is not very good. But there are certain supports like Luna and Mantis and like Adam who can do damage while they're healing, or in like addition to their healing. Like Luna can use her, I don't know what it's called, but her like clapping mode, so she can get really big cleave. Obviously Mantis just shoots the entire time while she's healing everybody. Adam is the same way. But like other characters like Jeff has to just sit there and heal because you really need that sustain value. That's really important. Same thing with Loki. He really just has to like heal his team. He doesn't have as many opportunities to hit other people. And when you ult, you just copy the Luna. So you have double Luna ult. Kind of crazy. Kind of, you know, I wish there were more ways to use his ult that were more effective. But yeah. Luna, the interval for switching between healing and damage in her ult is much higher. That means when you swap modes, you have 0.5 seconds before you can swap again. Down from or up from 0.1 seconds. Basically, you can't spam it. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a little tip. That was never effective. Everybody who is telling you to like scroll between them, it's not effective. The way that server tick rates work is that every single tick, it's going to be checking for it. So instead of it always giving you a certain amount of healing and damage per second at all times, every time a server tick rate happens, whatever one is on it, basically you're never getting both of them at the same time. That's what I'm trying to say. You're never getting damage boost and healing at the same time. It was always fake. This is the same thing. Stuff like this happens in Overwatch. There's a reason you can't just, and in this game, there's a reason you can't just spin around in a circle with your shield at a super high DPI and never get hit by anything. That's not how it works. Server tick rates are the reason why that's not how it works. So, with all that being said, that was always fake. This is a nothing nerf. It does not matter. This ult is good, never because of the damage boost, but always because of the sustain. Always because of the healing. 9 times out of 10, you should never even swap between them, in my opinion. It is much more effective to just stay on healing song and run them down with no consequences. It is really a crazy ult that I cannot believe they have not nerfed the duration, the healing, anything. That's my piece. That's what I have to say. Okay, Mantis. Mantis will be making Mantis a little bit less fleet-footed, reducing her roaming support capability. So when she has full health, she moves slower. I think that's the fun part about Mantis, so she actually doesn't have to stay in the back and just like she can actually move around. Yes, it's hard to hit her, but the other thing about Mantis is like she has not AoE, but she has sustain. She has really good sustain. Just put a leaf on somebody, on 4 people at once and yourself, and then like everybody is just getting healing over time, and then go do your damage, get them all back, etc, etc. I think the fact that Mantis was so fast and could weave in and out and be like half dually was fun. Like Mantis is fun in that regard. Limiting that, I think, is going to make Mantis play a lot more safe and a lot less interesting. and I don't really like these changes. And again, Mantis is really good. Her damage boost needs to be looked at. I think the regen rate either or the duration of the abilities needs to like get hit in some regard, because her uptime on these abilities is just too high in my opinion. And then Rocket is going to heal more. Sure. Rocket, I don't think Rocket's very good. I think he's a little cheesy, a little easy. I think you're better off picking like 4 or 5 of the other supports over him. So this is probably worthwhile. He did feel like, I will say though, it sucks because his healing is super easy. So now he's just getting like a lot more easy value. You know, whatever. I think Rocket's design is just, it needs a little help. It's a little basic in my opinion. His gun is kind of worthless a lot of the time, compared to other supports, DPS capabilities. Like in comparison, I think he probably has the worst gun and some of the worst healing on both fronts. And of course his like beacon, it's just kind of boring. I mean, that's a really boring ability, and just getting like a free res around walls, not very fun in my opinion. Okay, so these are the team up abilities. So some of the team ups themselves have been changed, but also a lot of the seasonal bonuses around them have been changed. So Hawkeye went from 20% extra to 15% extra, so that's a damage nerf. He still can one-shot. That's still possible, but remember the other nerfs that he's got, his effective range is way lower, which is good. Hela also down from 20. So instead of 25 to 15, it was 20 to 15 for both of these. So slight damage reduction. This might be a lot more noticeable on Hela than it is on Hawkeye. For Luna and Namor, Frozen Spawn, his little turret that freezes and slows, it slows and does more damage, is going to do even more damage, and the slowing effect is going to be more. Increased Berserk State damage. Oh, so that's when he hits a headshot or a right click. So that's going to make this team up a lot more, what's it called? It's going to make it a lot more relevant. And I'm going to say something. I think Namor is sleeper good. Obviously with hit scan so good, it's hard for him to compete with them. But with them going down, with hero bans, with, you know, other flankers like Psylocke and Black Panther getting nerfed, Namor with a slowing turret that does more damage, that's really enticing. And Luna didn't get touched at all. So that's really enticing for Namor. He might be like sleeper really good. I think he already was sleeper really good, but I think he's gonna be like way better this season, but we'll have to see. The infinite ammo thing that Rocket can put down for Punisher and Soldier, the cooldown of it was reduced. That thing is up for a while, and now it's gonna have higher uptime. I don't know. I think this one is like, this one is a really good team up on paper, but in practice, I think right now it's just not as good. So it being up more often, I guess, is relevant, but I don't like this one. And I don't want to just see Punisher just completely like unloading a clip, or Bucky just Hail Mary, just like no cooldown management ever. It's like Bucky is such a good, well-designed character that when Rocket puts this thing down, it's just Unga Bunga mode for however long it's up, like 10 seconds maybe. So that's why I don't really like this team up, but it hasn't been very relevant this season yet. Scarlet Witch and Magneto, I'm a little concerned about this, because if you played the beta, you know that Magneto's sword 2-tapped with Mantis boost, so you would just throw Magneto's sword like projectiles and just like 2-tap people. It was crazy. So increasing the damage is a little scary to me, but I haven't really seen this team up be viable since beta, because Scarlet Witch is so bad and there are a lot more better characters now. So it might not actually break the game like it did in beta. I don't think it will, but it's not that much to look out for. And then the one with Thor, Storm, and Captain America, where Captain America and Storm get increased, it's just Storm, actually. Hers is going to be up more often, and it does more damage. Okay, wait, so this is Charge Gale. So I think her right click did get more damage, because it said, yeah, Bolt Rush. So her right click and her team up both got more damage, which is relevant. I think it's really relevant to her DPS output, especially, again, with a seasonal bonus that it's not listed here that she has, but she does have. And It's 5%, but also her regular damage boost. So that is going to be relevant for Storm. I think she's going to be a much better pick, especially because she's already like a faux support character. But yeah, I think that's it. Overall, I think the changes, especially like the changes to the Vanguards, I think are probably good, all in the right direction. If not, some of them being a little like toothless, like the Thor one. The duelists are also pretty good. I like the Black Widow changes a lot. I think Hawkeye's changes are really good. And a lot of them are pretty relevant. So good, like good on them. I'm not as crazy about the Scarlet Witch one, but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. And then the strategist changes, I think their power is just too high. I would love to see strategists be able to fight a little more instead of just like really focusing on healing. Because it really does feel like the best way to play a lot of these characters, again, except for Mantis and Luna, was to just really heal. And again, I'll say one more time, Mantis did lose part of her capacity to do that, and I don't like that change. But overall, the patch notes I think are actually pretty good, and we'll have to keep an eye on like how some of these characters are performing after it. But let me know down below, what do you think about this patch, and subscribe if you like this video. I'm sorry for putting 2 patch notes videos in a row, but there was a hotfix patch randomly, and I couldn't do my hazard video because of the hotfix patch. So it just kind of turned out this way, and I'm pretty sure Overwatch mid-season is happening next week, so next Wednesday be on the lookout for another patch note video. I'll have my first impressions of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman and Season 1 in general out on Monday, so be looking out for that here. Again, like and subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Come live, twitch.tv/Elaine Hemingway, if you want the follower notification about penis cancer showing up for you. That's the best way to do it. Come see my streams live, twitch.tv/Elaine Hemingway. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays is when I stream. I do my discussions live on stream a lot of the time. And join my Discord down below if you want to keep up to all things about me and my channel. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching, and please have a good day.